way to get it out. So if it was me, I'm gonna come out from the side like here, because this fits in between the brake hose and a wheel speed sensor wire. Alright, Leekautorepair. So I got a 2007. I always gotta do that. You notice when I do that, my brain be all screwed. 07 Infiniti G35. I was about to say a Nissan something. Don't ask me why I was about to say that. So in this car, I'm in the middle of doing some suspension. To be exact, I'm replacing some front struts. Loaded struts. I'm not separating. No one ever really separates the coil from the strut itself. Everyone really just buys it loaded. So if you in a predicament where you have to do that, yeah, I can do that if I want to. That's no problem. But it just cost effective if you just get one that's already loaded. Unless you're dealing with aftermarket stuff, then cool. Either way, you should be prepared to do both procedures. So I did the left front already. The left front was fairly easy. Only issue I had was with the sway bar link. The sway bar link was a little pain in the butt, but it's best if you jack up both cars so that way you can take pressure on both ends of the link. The steering for the sway bar. Sorry, in my head, I'm in the middle of studying Spanish, so it's just I got like words in my head that I'm screwing everything up what I'm saying right now. So let me adjust the camera, and I'm doing it again in my head. I was gonna say behind me and then whatever I was gonna say. Adjust the camera. I'm gonna put it over here, and yeah, give me a second. All right, first things first, you know I like to always tell people, if you can't do what? If you can't take the wheel off, you don't need to be doing no job like this. Your safety is on the line. Please educate yourself. If you can't get the wheel off, what makes you think you competent enough to continue the job? Dime. Exactly. So, first thing we're gonna do, for me, I don't really have a specific order for when I do things. I just do things just whatever suits me. So it's gonna be a couple things that you're gonna be removing. Like you got some, look like some wheel speed sensor. Like it's routed around this knuckle, and then you have two mounting plates for it on the strut itself. So it's just grommet, so just move it out the way. We got this brake hose right here, which is a 12mm nut. It's attached to the strut, so just be careful when trying to break this free, because this brake hose will flex on this welded bracket that's on this strut itself. So if I were you, I would get a wrench and figure out what size it is. You probably can get away with a 18. I used the 19. It had to run a little bit to move, but it locked it in place, and I was able to get in there with a ratchet and a 12mm 3/8 setup, and I was able to back off the nut for this brake hose. So get that out the way. Afterwards, you can, if you want, you can leave this bolt last. I don't know why I didn't spray it down with like PB blaster, but I'm gonna need to cover this camera for a second. I mean, I don't want this flying out, but get some PB blaster in it, because you're going to be removing this upper ball joint nut and bolt. I believe it's, if I can remember, a 14mm. I think it's a 14. It don't look like a 17. I could be wrong, but we're going to figure that out when I start taking off stuff. So after you get this removed, you're going to need to place a jack underneath the rotor. You can put it underneath the rotor, or you can put it under the control arm. For me, I put it under the control arm. Like I said, you can put it under the rotor. That's up to you. And the reason why you're going to put it under the rotor, because the suspension will drop down. But it won't drop down just yet. It will only drop down if you had removed the upper three strut mount nuts that's on the strut tower up underneath the hood. I'll show you when I get there. And then we also, if I could, I can't turn the wheel like how I want to because the steering wheel is locked, but there is a sway link. The sway link is integrated into the strut itself, so it's like a sway link slash bolt. I mean, it's just weird. One side is a 19, and then for the other side, for the strut, you can lock for the sway link. You can lock the sway link. I'll show you in a second when I get there. But just take a 19mm wrench to lock the sway link, and then you can back the 17mm nut off, and you'll be able to remove that. And once you get that free from the bottom, and you get that whole nut and everything out, the bolt slash sway bar link, you can put your jack up under here before you do that. But once that's removed from the bottom and you adjust your jack to bring it down or lower it, you'll notice how the suspension will drop down. Now, the last thing I would have done is remove the 3 bolts from the top of the shock tower or the strut tower. So enough of the talking, let's proceed. I'm just going to go ahead and loosen this, get this out the way. So like I said, it's a 12. Use some power tools if you can. And the reason I'm going to state using power tools because this is going to make this job a whole lot easier. If you want to be that guy and just do it by hand, then good luck for your body. That's up to you if you want wear and tear. I don't want no wear and tear, so we're going to do it this way. So I'm locking this brake hose. It's a little struggle, but we got it. Alright. Alright, so now should be able to get that out the way. And I put this nut off to the side. If you want to be neat, sometimes for a bolt order, just to be organized, I put the bolt back on so that way I know what to resort to. So let's work on the other side. Next, we're gonna get this well speed sensor wire, cable, sensor, line, whatever you want to call it. Just move that out the way. Next, gonna take off the what did I say it was? The strut bottom, the lower strut bolt slash sway link. And I'm getting up in here with I got the wrong size. 1 second, I need a 19. I believe it's a 19 if I can remember. I got some tools and stuff laying around here. Alright, let's continue. Déjame continuar con mi trabajo. Dame un momento, por favor. Ok, estoy listo. At first, it's going to give you a run for your money, but it just seems like it hasn't been free in like ages. Air tools, nobody is better than air tools, so that I'm going to state. So look like I got the nut loose already. Let me see. I don't. It's actually free spinning. So what I like to do when I got a bolt, a sway link free spinning, especially if I got one that's equipped for me to like lock it down or something. Give me 1 second so I can find me. Alright, I found what I was looking for. I got a 13/16 size here. Or if you want to try to get like a 21, that's up to you. I believe that's what works. Because my 19 didn't work, and I know 7/8 don't work because that's like a 22 or 23 in between. I don't know. I don't do standard, and I'm American. That's funny, right? So next we're going to get the nut off for the sway link. Alright, so let me get my 19 and 17. If I can remember what that size is. I'm gonna be blinded by this light, but it is what it is, right? So let me try to maneuver from the other side. And I'm gonna risk my eyesight so that way you can learn from this, right? As much of a sacrifice I'm getting for free. It's off. That was a struggle for a second. You heard that, right? I heard it. So now that's off. You might have to use some MAP gas, or you like propane, you can go ahead. I use MAP gas because I ain't finna sit there for hours messing with that. So that came off cool. So next, you can pretty much walk that off. Don't forget your washer. That's important. That's importante. And get a jack up under this. All right, now I'm gonna talk louder. You're probably gonna hear like my heater going off. Let me adjust this. Move this around so I can get in here, like here. Is that better? That's better. So now I'm gonna get in here. I got my long ratchet wrenchy. I'm gonna crack it free before I apply my power tools. Be careful not to hit your fender. Just to get it free. What we doing? Alright. We seem stiff. Look like we might need some heat. So, let me see if I can do something. Because it's both spinning. Let me see. Alright. We good. You notice how I like to crack it free? Because when you do messing with like electric tools, you could damage your motor trying to get something out. So next, when I got a stiff bolt that's stuck inside, I like to do this. I'll show you in a second. I'll just take a block of wood, run it out. If not, I'll take the hammer and block of wood, and that came out good. So next I take a wrench and walk it out. Let's give it my gun. Run for his money, for sure. Alright, I don't like that. This bolt is, we got to get a replacement bolt in here. Why do I have to get a replacement bolt? Because these threads are like sheared and it look like it's been in here for a long time in this condition. So I'm pretty sure I have another one in here I can match up, and it is slightly tapered a little bit, but the most important part, I need to find something that can go in the groove of the stud of the ball joint, because that's where the bolt rests at. So I won't be using that again. So let's put that off to the side and put that nut right there. So now I can lower. I don't know why I assumed it was already lowered, but I'm going to take my wrench and make it act as a pry bar, separate it. So now it's free. So being as though it's free, what can I do now? I can now go on top of the car and I'm going to remove the 3 strut bolts, strut nuts of the strut bolts, whichever how you prefer. Alright, next I need a change of gloves. Why? Because the ones I have, they got a hole in it. So let me walk back. And these bolts on the top, you're going to need an extension. Why are you going to need an extension? Just because, so you won't strip anything. So I'm going to grab my wobble socket from Harbor Freights. And I'll grab the ratchet while I'm here. And this is a, can I remember? I said it was a 12. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was something else. To grab my ratchet. It's not going to drop. Be careful. Some cars are designed when you've taken off everything on the suspension, and it will drop down because you have nothing else holding it in. That's one. That's exactly why I say you need a swivel. Alright, leave that right there. Got somehow good in there. Get it. Alright, got that. And that key. Let's crack it free. Woo! No tangle. Okay. Now I'm going to remove this strut from the bottom. Let me switch my camera angle again. Alright, now I'm ready to remove it. So I'm going to lower the suspension. Yeah, we good. Bring your jack down way more so that way you got wiggle room to, you're gonna maneuver this out, and then you're gonna get this out of it. It sits in a pocket, so you might have to get a pry bar and wedge it out. If you want, got something else to wedge it out with it, be my guest. That's you. Haz lo que quieras. Para mí, no me importa, en serio. Alright, got that. Let's remove it. So you won't have to rotate it one way to get it out. So if it was me, I'm gonna come out from the side like here, because this fits in between the brake hose and the 8 wheel speed sensor wire. So move that to the side. And you probably won't be able to see, so I got stuff in the way, but this strut itself is leaking right up in here, and por eso voy a cambiarlo. Alright, ya terminé con este auto atrás de mí. Me fue bien, todo bien, no me puedo quejar con el trabajo. En mi opinión, este tipo de trabajo fue muy fácil en serio. Y probablemente te tomara 1 hora o 2 horas. Para mí fue 1 hora, porque siempre yo trabajo más rápido como un mexicano. Una broma, lo lamento por eso, pero déjame continuar con mis pensamientos. Me voy en varios minutos porque tengo muchas cosas para completar, pero eso no importa. Lo que es importante es estoy aquí mostrándote muchas cosas y arreglar muchas cosas también. Y si tienes preguntas para mí, puedes escribir por Instagram o email o en los comentarios. Y por favor, déjame repetir, por favor, puedes suscribir a mi canal, por favor, te agradezco. Y no quiero continuar hablando sobre nada en español, pero me voy. Gracias por mirarme.